I totally get that this sounds like old-timer syndrome, but younger people really can't understand how special of a place Star Wars used to occupy in pop culture, and what ended up becoming, kind of mainstream geek culture. And if you were a kid of the 70s and 80s like I was, who was inspired by all these different IPs, right, all these different sci-fi fantasy epics, or just plain adventure movies, there was a special place reserved for Star Wars. Of course, talking about the original trilogy, and the one that got it all started, the installment was, of course, A New Hope. And one of the things that made that one so memorable, even life-changing for many, myself included, was the visuals. No, I don't mean the special effects, not in this context, just the visuals, the look of Tatooine, the Millennium Falcon, the Death Star, you name it. Lucas and his team absolutely struck gold when it comes to designing everything, pretty much, that you look at in the movie. And one of the designs, one of the looks that stuck in people's heads was that of the Stormtroopers. As far as generic bad guy soldiers that accompany, the named characters, can you think of any look more iconic than the Stormtrooper? I don't think so. And part of it, I think, is how well they visually complement Vader. And when Vader and the Stormtroopers first storm onto screen in this scene here, you were completely drawn into the movie. You were hooked. And I think that's a big reason why the original Star Wars became such a sensation. And as you know from the video title, I got to see a film-used Stormtrooper helmet from Episode 4, and even better, it's one of the Stormtroopers that had a speaking part. Well, I'm going to share that with you, but back when I was a kid, back when this kind of thing here was going on, I could not have imagined, as it became the overarching mythos of my imagination, that I'd get to see something from the actual movie. And here it is. I was talking a minute ago about what distinguishes this one in the sense that the person who wore it got to have a line. It's also a Stormtrooper, the first Stormtrooper to get killed by Han Solo. Technically a Sand Trooper, I know, we'll get to that. But if you're going to get killed by one of the good guys, that's obviously the best way to go. And it's just really neat to see the artisanal nature of these things. They obviously did not come off of a assembly line, and, machine wasn't programmed, which then spit them out. And so you can see the imperfections, no two are alike. They look a lot rougher in person than you would assume, having only ever seen them on screen. And like I said, that's neat because of the process that it implies, but also that's what allows these to be identified. This one's got a crack at the upper right jaw and a little upturned corner at the end of the, what I'll call mouth, all on the right side. Of course, these things were not built to last, so it turns out that the paint that they used didn't play well with the underlying material, and that's why you get kind of the exposure that you see here on top, as he's going bald in his middle age, as many of us are. As this screen implies, the helmet I got to see is the Stop That Ship, Blast Him Sand Trooper helmet. And those were the last words he ever uttered before Solo put a hole in him. His large rifle did him no good in that encounter, but it looked really cool as he was carrying it around. And circling back to how this guy got a lot of play, it was the helmet obviously being worn by the trooper shot by Han Solo. You saw in the picture a few seconds ago where it was the one interrogating the barkeep, and it was the one talking to the mysterious informant, which gets them going to, you guessed it, Docking Bay 94. This helmet does have replacement parts on it, by the way. It's been refurbished. That's mostly the ears, the acrylic for the eye lens, or lenses, and stuff like foam padding. A pretty cool piece of Star Wars and really movie-making history. Stormtroopers may have been terrible shooters, but they had a badass look that instantly became iconic. And that's it for the video, an item I'm very happy to add to my Movie Artifacts playlist. Bye.